Ah. Welcome to the show. My name is Alex.
And I'm Lizzie.
And we have a very special guest. She went from the most annoying big sister to the most vital person in Colony House to a pothead. And if there's no other person than Hannah Cheramy, a.k.a. Julie, thank you so much for joining the show. And you were one of our first, bookings. So, and you were like this little kid, and now it's been 3 seasons later and you have college homework. So, I mean, it's just like awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. So how's it been this season?
It's been great. This season is like really, really amped up its game. Obviously, I mean, every season we do that, but this season especially has been ultra crazy. So I've been loving seeing the reactions from everybody.
And yeah. And that said, I mean, you've been doing a lot more, and we're going to get into just what you've been doing in terms of the dynamic of the Matthews family. Now, just so you know, folks, this is we're talking season 3. I was going to say season 7, season 3, episode 7.
Not even there yet.
These Fragile Lives. Just so you know, we have not gone, so we have not seen any of the other stuff. Okay, so we go week to week because we like to torture ourselves. And going into season 3, what was the biggest change that you had in terms of the character? Because you know the character now, I'm assuming. Like, what was the best part of being Julie this season?
I think that the best part, I mean, there was obviously like character shift and physical environment shift, physical environment being the weather. So that was a very big adjustment to deal with. But I think character-wise, it was really interesting coming right off of Julie being locked stuck in the chamber and dealing with the aftermath of that, and her kind of keeping it sort of a mystery from her family and people that ask her because she's just trying to process it in her own time. I think that was really interesting to play, just sort of like me not really truly understanding what's happening to Julie, but Julie wasn't understanding what was happening to Julie. So it kind of created a cool balance there.
That's awesome. And, you know, you did a lot with Randall this year, and we just saw the episode where, you know, you guys are driving off, and Randall's having a tough friggin' season. Yeah. You know, he's hearing things, he's seeing those cicadas. They're cicadas, not cicadas. That's not for you. That's for Lizzie.
Okay.
I'll try to remember.
I know she doesn't. She's from Boston. That all being said, it's pretty interesting that you, Marilee, and Randall each have your own issues with the entity. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely all having our own. And I'm not even sure if Marielle's has really been delved into deeply. Like Julie obviously is hearing screaming and Randall is dealing with the cicadas, but it'd be interesting to see what Marielle's really dealing with because she's much more private about that.
She's been almost in denial. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, just go, trying to deal with the Fatima's pregnancy and like get her mind off of it.
Exactly. The thing that I've noticed most about this season is that you have been giving Wednesday Addams a run for her money. Oh my God, Julie has been so dark and her hair is just like, it's just kind of Morticia-like in a way. Like it's just, except for there's not that little sunny, gruesome disposition. Like she is just really, really dark. And then episode 7, she's like laughing and smiling. And I'm like, is she flirting with Randall? I mean, like, what is going on?
Yeah, there definitely is episode 7 and coming off of also, I forget if it was 5 or 6 there with Elgin and looking through the the 80s clothes in the basement there.
Yeah.
It was fun to finally like have some smiley good time scenes because everything has been so bad for Julie recently that it's just been fun. And I guess like the weed helping her cope with the screaming and actually like sort of silencing what's going on in her head. She can finally go back to being like, oh my gosh, like this is what it was like before. Like I can still have like sort of a regular life in this town, regular being the place that they're in. But, you know, she was always kind of more of the character, even back in season 1, choosing Colony House where they chose to live for the day. I think that was always more Julie, just to sort of less about like, we need to figure out what's going on in this town and more just like, okay, this is my life now. I need to like sort of group myself here.
Well, one thing that I love about your character, and I said that kind of in the intro, was you went from brat to valued person to now important person. And what do I mean by that?
Yes, what do you mean?
What I mean by that is the last episode is you kind of falling back to before From, in the sense of, okay, you guys are going to fight. Now I need to take care of, you know, Ethan and make sure he's okay, because despite what you think, you guys aren't parenting. And, you know, what is the deal with your dad, with Jim? Is he like off the reservation, or is he just like, what is his deal? I'm like ready to strangle him. He's like being so dumb.
He's not.
So I'm really torn on this subject because I am seeing a lot of Jim hate, but my thing with Jim is that he does things sometimes it's very like, oh, come on, man. Like, did you have to word it like that? Like, did you have to say that? Did you have to like gaslight Tabitha? But there's other times where it's also like, you have to kind of put yourself in their shoes and really understand like the different perspectives of different people that would be in the town. So Tabitha is there being like, I have these answers. We got to go to the bottle tree. And she's constantly trying to get out. And Jim is like, sort of same as Julie there almost, where it's like, just slow down for a second. Like, your family is here. Your family is all we have here. And you're aiming to please other people in the town instead of like actually staying back and being with their family. So I think he's just hesitant to try to feed into Tabitha's ideas about this place.
Well, wait a second here. I got to question you on this for a second, young lady. You had a little coming to Jesus meeting with Jim. Like, dude, are you going to get your stuff together? You go to the cabin. I'm taking care of Ethan.
Yeah.
Like, this is not the 80s or whatever.
That's the thing. It's like I'm torn back and forth. I'm like, Jim, come on now. But other times I'm like, whoa, wow.
Now, I do have a question if I don't ask this, because I was told in the chat that if I will let Lizzie ask this, but how old are you in this season now?
I'm pretty sure, like, I don't think it was ever revealed, but I'm pretty sure Julie is like 16, 17.
That's what I think.
Like 16 I'm pretty sure is just the age that I've always played her since, because like season 1, it hasn't been like.
It's been about not even a month yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think
it's just going to thrive.
I think the great thing about From is that they kind of keep you also guessing about the timeline, just to keep you lost in the show. They never actually say specific dates, so it's kind of like up in the air about how long the Matthews family really been there. But I think Julie is like 16.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking that tonight, because you know she mentions getting her driver's permit at 15. The thing that I've noticed about Jim that I keep going back to is that he is an engineer and thinks like an engineer. So when some people are freaking out about something, he's going into this very practical thought process where, all right, we can problem solve our way out of anything. But it's just, given the way this season starts, and you know, you're coming back from this horrible nightmare, and there's all this other stuff going on, and you know, you're hearing screaming in your head all the time. It was no surprise that you just were very, you know, dark, but you didn't waste any time telling your dad or Jim, Julie didn't waste any time telling Jim, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah.
You're not running off and leaving me to pick up all the pieces while you and mom are out there being crazy. You know,
well, I think it's really interesting because, you know, she is dealing with obviously this current situation of the screaming and the aftermath of the, you know, Martin's chamber and all that jazz. But I think that it's also sort of touching back to that place in her of her when Thomas passed and her feeling isolated in that moment. So it's those same emotions from her past coming up in this moment, being like, okay, I really can't deal with what I'm going through right now and what you're putting me through again, like this past trauma. I can't deal with that again. I need to focus on one traumatic thing at a time.
Yeah.
Get your shit together so I can get my shit together.
Yeah.
Well,
it gets to be where it's like it's Wednesday, so it must be Ethan's off in the woods somewhere. I don't know.
So
Could be.
Shambles.
Yeah.
That being said, you talked about dates. What's the deal with you and Randall versus you and Elgin? I mean, it's like, come on, girl. You know,
it's not like that.
That they always say that until it is.
It's not like that.
See, no. I'm seeing a lot of shipping with both those characters, and I don't know personally. I don't really know my stance on either. The only thing that I'm thinking is I'm like, Julie is a minor, and Randall.
Wait. You've got
he's like 30, right? And Elgin, what is Elgin, like 21, 22?
Yeah, no, wait. These are your choices.
He's still a minor.
Wait, these are your choices. You have the bad boy, which is a good option because, you know, she's like in that area, regardless of age right now, you know, teaching you how to drive, smoking some pot, whatever else. Then you've got the psychotic, mentally deranged, poor kid that can't go near water. And we're going to get into that a little bit later of he did the dumbest thing possible this week.
I don't even understand what that was all about. I'm like,
we're going to figure it out.
Just clean up your own cell.
I mean, like, you know, Hannah's going to give us all the secrets for the next couple of episodes with all the cliffhangers. Just wait until the end of the episode. But I do have another real question. You know, you've been a child actor your whole life. And what type of information or stuff, because working with Simon, I mean, he seems like he's so professional. I mean, he seems like he's more professional than I am half the time. And have you given him any advice, or is he giving you more advice at this point?
Honestly, I've probably learned more from Simon than he's learned from me. He's wicked smart and so professional. And, you know, me and him will like goof off on set together. But the second that it's like go time, he's like, okay, let's go. And he's like, he's in it and he's ready to go. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll follow you. You know,
yeah, whatever. We're here to work. I forgot.
No,
so,
go.
Oh, well, all right. I don't know what to exactly call it, but in today's episode at the end of Julie and Randall come across the arches that Boyd popped up, you know, when he escaped Martin, or in the chamber with Martin. What is it that you think Julie was feeling?
I think when I was playing that scene, because, you know, she's on a mission, she's looking for Randall, and then it's just an instant feeling of like draw, like just something is pulling her and compelling her to go to this place. And it's almost trance-like, where she's like, it's also like maybe crazy deja vu, where it's like, I know this, I know this place, I know what this is, but I don't know what this is, and I need to go into this place because there's something so weird about it that I feel so connected to it, but I have no clue from the outside.
Yeah. I had forgotten all about that place until the two of you come across it, and I'm like, oh crap, like some kind of magnetism is there. And you know, and perhaps because the three of you experienced the cicadas. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did. It only took
Okay.
you seven episodes.
Whatever. But at any rate, so since the three of you experienced the cicadas, it seems like each one of you have brought something home with you that's different from the other. So he is being haunted by the bugs and no one else can see them. And that, I think they showed that tonight just so we could see that no one else was tapped into it. If someone else was, it would have been you or Myriad.
Yeah.
And then it makes me wonder if this is your superpower, because no one else can tell that you're hearing screaming all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are extra sensitive to energy, that might be a piece of the puzzle.
I like the way you think.
And you're not going to say anything. You know what? I'm so pissed. Someone spoiled something in the finale because Alex and I do not watch ahead.
Yeah,
like as soon as we're finished tonight, we're going to watch next week's episode. We won't even talk about it.
I'm going to say right now, for the last couple of weeks, I've said every single time to her, I've texted, what the?
I know. That's what I was going to say.
I mean, it seems like Pegah is a pretty upbeat person and you're a pretty upbeat person. You look at your social media, you're having a ball. And was there you guys needed therapy after this season? It seemed like it was so hard to do because there is no light. It was a train. It seems like every time there's something. Now, the question that we've been asking all the actors this season is, do you think love is the Achilles heel of From? And what do I mean by that is the first 2 seasons, everybody was separate and the entities, the monsters, it was kind of, they came out at night. We didn't come out at night. Now that you guys are working together, Kenny's going up to Colony House now because, you and your family have taken his poor house and taken the stuff out of the drawer, the screwdriver, jerk. And no, I mean, now that everybody's starting to work together finally, and that's been my biggest criticism is that nobody talks, because of that, do you feel that love is part of the problem in the sense of it's affecting the entities to ramp stuff up?
I think I would say that's pretty spot on. I think that the monsters probably are hating that they're figuring stuff out, that they are working together. Before it was kind of just, they were in a place of when there was the 96 days, no incidents, again, separate. Nobody was really working together to find a way out. So they kind of just were more accepting of the life and their rules and their way of living. And then the Matthews came and destroyed everything and just really shook up the whole place. And
it's because you had to play with the finger monsters. If you didn't do that, the tree wouldn't have been there. It's all your fault.
It's my fault. I'm sorry, guys. Everyone's dead because of me.
No, I don't know what I would do on Sundays, so thank you.
No, but I do want to surprise you with something. And folks, this is just for me. This poor woman, when she first came on our podcast, we had her do an intro. And the poor girl, I tortured her. And I didn't mean to torture her, but it was a tongue twister. I got to play it for them because do you even remember it?
No, I don't.
You had to do it 3 times because you had to say, and it's completely my fault. Okay. I am totally apologizing because I am a jerk. Okay. So let me just find it real quick. I know he's whatever.
You don't have it handy. You start talking about it and then you don't have it handy.
Oh, I have it. Oh no.
Hi there. My name is Hannah Cheramy. This is the What is Fromcast podcast on the Podcastica Network.
Poor girl had to say Podcastica Network.
8 times.
We did it 8 times. I know. I'm sorry. I will not make you do that again. I'm sorry.
We haven't had anyone do that. He was the only one you were the only one he asked.
You know why? Because after she did it, I'm there's no way I'm ever going to get anybody to do it.
Yeah, I don't even know. I can't even say it half the time, and I have been familiar with it for the last 10 years.
What is Fromcast podcast on Podcastica? Was that?
I
what
know
it
it's like a tongue
You know what?
twister,
We don't
right?
even say that now. We don't even say podcast because we don't even know what we are. But
Yeah.
so what was the most surprising thing, without giving spoilers for the next 3 episodes? Were you guys surprised at the direction of the season?
Oh yeah, I'm surprised at the direction of every single episode that comes out. There's always something that is insane. I mean, episode 7, freaking Tilly dying. I was like,
my God, I know.
that
He was Fatima in the greenhouse with the gardening shears.
I mean, I feel like we could see that obviously something crazy had to happen with Fatima. Something drastic had to happen to show, like, really that something is not wrong. I mean, that is not right within her. But that to be it, I was like, oh my God.
I'm going to tell you right now, you need to call up Pegah right now. We need to get her on here because she has something to answer.
Oh my God, stop pressuring her.
No, I'm just saying, because that girl went from like the nicest person in the world to batshit crazy in about 3 seconds. I mean, like, she's got something to answer for.
Yeah, I mean, Pegah and I were also roommates this season, so she would just come home from work, and I'd be like, "How was work?" And she'd go, "Oh, I was crying and screaming and
like, it's
killing
just the
people."
usual.
And I was like, "Oh, so very Fatima of you."
Yeah.
I mean, were you surprised at all the killing this year?
No, because people are gonna die. It's the nature of the show, but I think it's definitely more gruesome. I think that her eating Nikki was really,
You know
and
what?
I don't think I'll ever be able to get that out of my head.
Nikki deserved it.
See
Don't
that.
mess with somebody in the bathroom.
That was just too much. That was too much. We know you've got to go back and do your homework. Tomorrow is Monday. And I just want to thank you for taking some time out of your Sunday night and joining us. And you're doing a fabulous job. You just really, really are. I work with a lot of, not that you are anymore, but child actors, and some of them don't have it. I'm just gonna say it. But you and Simon,
last episode, evidently.
Yeah. But I mean, you've transitioned quite nicely into a young adult. Like, if I had been your teacher, I would have been very proud.
So,
thank you.
Yeah.
So Hannah, have you been doing any other projects outside of From?
Well, as we know, I'm doing homework, so I'm a full-time student right now, working on the degree. But
nothing right now. But you are going to be going to the Middle East, it sounds like, because I saw you post that. Where are you going, and what's that all about?
I'm going to Comfest, Bahrain on January 31st and February 1st in 2025. I'm very excited.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Have you been out of, like, off this continent before?
Yes, I've been to Europe. I've been to Europe a couple times. We have family friends that live over there, so I've been there. But I've never been to anywhere in the Middle East. So I'm very excited. That'll be a big change.
I have the most important question of all the questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
Are the Canucks actually going to do something?
One can only hope.
Because I'm a Rangers fan, and I'm telling you right now, I'm just as frustrated. Okay, it's
been a rough start. The game.
I know. Lizzie's like, "What are we talking about? We're talking hockey here."
I know you're talking hockey.
Big hockey fan, big Vancouver Canuck fan, and I just love the fact that you and your family are so sports oriented. Between football and hockey, and I just I know I every so often I'll watch on SportsCenter, I'll see how they're doing. I'm like, oh, that's I'll think of you. You know what I mean? And all that good stuff.
Canucks losing and think of me. Thank you.
Well, no, I'm just saying, it's just nice to know that there are other people that actually watch it once in a while. You know what I mean? It's just like it's fun. I mean, and it's about family. As somebody said, the Capitals. Well, we're not even putting that up there. But that all being said, we want Lizzie. You have anything else for her?
I just want her to go do her homework. As much as I want her to hang out all night.
My grades will thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
Stats
and the
is
mystery person
is
from
okay.
behind that will not be named.
Yeah.
But no,
Bye,
thank
Emily.
Bye, Emily. There she is. Thank you so much for taking the time, Hannah. And, you know, whenever you're ready to do another podcast at Podcastica, we are here for you, which will be never. But no, thank you so much. And you're killing it this year. And hopefully you don't get killed or kill anybody like your friend Pegah. Because, you know, I mean, you know, let's just face it. You are not allowed to go in the garden. Nobody's allowed to go in the greenhouse anymore.
No,
It's not
that's
safe.
the danger zone.
That is the danger zone. But, you know, I'm just looking in the chat just before you go. Where are the awesome comments? Because they're all awesome. Of course, I can't.
Why do you think Julie has distanced herself from Fatima?
There's been comments this whole time.
Oh,
I just know.
Oh, no.
All right, Alex, we have to let her go.
All right, we'll see you later. I'm kicking you out. Bye.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Anna.
And that was the one and only Hannah Cheramy.
That was awesome.
From. And whenever she wants to just delete, she just wants to stay on there forever, it looks like. We kicked her out. There you go. Yeah. But now, folks, now that we did that, we are going to get right into the episode. And we've kind of given our first thoughts. But, you know, before we start all that good stuff, I just want to say, if you're liking what we're doing, just hit the subscribe button. I know right behind Miss Lizzie is our poster. And at the end, we got a couple of other things that we're going to be doing. And so where do you want to start? You want to start with Donna now?
Yeah, let's start with Donna. Donna, normally she's got a lot of big stuff going on, but not too much this episode. So her big thing is a conversation with Boyd about Fatima and Ellis leaving Colony House. Hey, thanks, PM. And, you know, Boyd actually takes it pretty well because he understands it really makes sense. But I think it just caught him by surprise. You know, like it's Donna and Boyd's relationship. I don't know if you guys have noticed as much as I have, but this season, it has definitely taken a change, like a turn where he has been a very supportive shoulder for her as she kind of breaks down slowly. So much has been going on that, you know, she's been a little bit emotionally fragile. And they talk about Fatima's condition, and they need to figure out, like they're trying to decide, is she like Sarah, where Sarah has worms and was trying to kill people? Or is she like Abby was, got overwhelmed with this place and, you know, lost touch with reality a little bit?
What I like about that conversation is they actually had a conversation and they actually kind of thought about what could it be?
Yeah.
It's not, oh, this is strange and da, da, da. No, it could be this, it could be that, it could be that, or it could be something else. And things are not off the table, which I like finally in the show. And I think they're doing a great job of that this episode.
Yeah, I think that they've started to have the conversations that a lot of people have wanted them to have. Like they had the big come together meeting at the diner. We saw how well that went.
Right.
So, you know, Donna, like I said, isn't doing much there other than bouncing ideas, you know, getting ideas bounced off of her. So she is cleaning up in Colony House, which makes me wonder why no one else is doing dishes. And Henry comes in looking for a stiff drink. And she's like, well, we have nothing here, but I know where we can get something. So they go down to the gas station, AKA bar, and, you know, they get the crappy potato vodka, but it's better than nothing. And I think it's been improved because Jade has
He knows how to brew.
well, yeah, and he's tweaked the whole system. But at any rate, Henry says to her that he wished he'd never come here with Tabitha, that Tabitha hadn't found him, and that he thought it was easier when he thought that Victor was dead. And I think it would be easy for people to damn him for that last thought, because here is his child that he'd been thinking was dead all this time. But, you know, if you put yourself in his place and you think, all right, my kid was 10. I don't know, I'm guessing 10. My kid was 10 when he went missing. And now here he is 40 years later, this 50-year-old man. And how do you reconcile that?
I felt the same way he did about that, because I could see him. I can justify both feelings.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the old saying, when you wish for something, you may get it.
Yeah.
Because you wish for it doesn't come the way you expect it to come.
Yeah. That's why you have to be very deliberate when you wish for stuff.
And,
you know,
this episode 7, you know, it's called These Fragile Lives.
Yeah.
It for a reason. You know, what do you think about this when it comes to Donna and Henry? It seems like there's a little I don't know.
Donna and Henry? You think
Yeah.
there might be a little something going on?
Just because, first off, Donna is doing what Donna does, which is protect the colony house people. But it just seems like she is, maybe it's just because she's trying to give him kid gloves because of Victor, but it just seems like a little something going on there. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, we can't rule anything out.
I mean, it would be nice. It would be nice to have some kind of good news.
Is that good news?
Well, I mean, you know, anytime.
I think she needs a port in the storm, basically.
She needs something. I mean, they need a break.
I think the days and times of people catching a break are over. Let's hop over to Tilly's last day. She's just kind of like touching base here and there. Like, she encourages Elgin about the little mobile that he made for Fatima, which was actually pretty cute.
Yeah.
You know, Tilly talks to Ellis about Fatima and saying, you know, I'm here to help. You know, I'm pretty good at that type thing. And she says that, and then Ellis confides in her about the ultrasound. I mean, that was like freaky when Christy is telling her there is nothing there, and Fatima is insisting that she can feel something. And, you know, I mean, it is so it only makes sense that she'd be feeling something.
Well, then he has that moment where her belly comes out and comes back in when Ellis comes in the room, and it's
yeah. So Tilly tries to give him hope, you know, by saying don't grieve for the living while they're still here. And she talks about, you know, when she found out that she had terminal cancer, you know, and it's very scary. You know, she says that life is the beginning of a grand adventure, or maybe it's the middle, but it's just not the end. Like, there's something after that. So we're going to leave Tilly there for now and jump over to the diner. And, you know, I think that the writers are just kind of poking maybe at me because what does Kenny find? His mom's tea. And so
it's a plot just against you.
It is a plot against me. I think it was just a little poke, but he finds Tian Chen's tea, and as he's walking back out into the dining room, in comes Acosta, and I think I'm finally getting a feel for her character. Tell me what you think. Like, I'm getting the sense that she does not have much for family, and that she has grown up looking for answers and became a cop because of maybe of the savior complex, that she needs to help people because she might have been helped or didn't get the help as she was coming along. And, Kenny tries to offer her some tea. She passes on that. And, he kind of tries to tell her, you're not the first person to ask all these questions, because she shows up like no one else has noticed all the weird things that are going on.
She's the first person to notice that there's monsters.
I know, everyone else is just walking around ignoring it, and much like a lot of people are like, you mean I get a free place to live? I don't have to pay the bills. And all I have to do is every night just go and be in the house and don't let anybody in.
I'm going to tell you right now, those monsters are a lot easier than the bills I got right now. I was telling you.
It feels like it. I'm agreeing with Papa. Acosta is rubbing me the wrong way.
See, I'm sorry, Papa. I think I love the character. For a couple of reasons. One, the actress is she's been in a couple of things that I like. I think she does have a chip on her shoulder, but I do think that Boyd is being a complete jerk to her unnecessarily.
I think he needs to cut her a little bit of slack. Like, we know from watching the episode that she was aiming at bank teller or bank president when she shot Nikki.
Right.
And it's not like she came into Colony House and was a jerk about it. Like, I think she was truly affected by the fact that she killed this person.
Of course she was.
And it's just like, no one's cutting her any slack about how she ended up there in her first night. Like, she's like literally running from all of them. And, it was when she like busts into Colony House, it was just all very crazy the way she landed there,
I think her biggest problem is, and it's kind of similar to Boyd's issue when he first got there, when they did that episode.
Yeah.
Police officers, EMS people, they're trained to solve problems.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this is not a problem that's going to be solved right away way. And that's the one thing that Kenny did. Now, going back to the tea real quick, I think that, it was just, that's just part of life. Poor Kenny is trying to figure his way out. He keeps saying, I'm all right. But,
he's not all right. Yeah.
His house has a new family in it that he doesn't fit in with.
He's not part of a family anymore. His
safe place is the diner, and that's not even his anymore. And the one thing, he's very cultural based, which I love. He's all about his culture. And what do you do when you're having a problem? You get a beverage, i.e. Sheldon. You have to have a hot beverage.
I knew you were going to say that.
But I'm just saying, I think that's so important to him. And as I think that what I love about Kenny is he is trying to honor his family, his mom and dad, every single day.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't understand about what he's doing. And he's trying not to make the wrong steps because everybody's watching him because of this whole thing. And you know, I love the conversation with him and Acosta, because I always say it wrong. Acosta,
Yeah.
Acosta, because she needed to have that conversation with somebody. The person that she should have had it with is Boyd, but Boyd's being a complete jackass because they're trying to break him.
Yeah.
And, you
Yeah.
know,
I'm just wondering if, you know, he was also, well, I mean, he was also probably trying to prevent someone else from being killed by her, but I don't think that was going to happen. She wasn't out to kill people, but the one thing is that she might, you know, in a crucial moment, not be able to tell the town inhabitants from the monsters, you know, but, you know, Kenny tells her that she needs to adapt or lose her mind. And when she says that she's going to have to carry the weight of what she did for the rest of her life, the jukebox comes on.
And I
love that song. Ooh, child, things are going to get easier. And, you know, the words, like I looked up the lyrics, and if anyone else did, you notice that they're pretty much saying the same thing over and over again. They're saying, we'll put it together and we'll get it undone.
Hold on. Somebody is saying in the chat, PM, you know, I'm going to stand with Boyd. All right, fine. Yeah. Then Acosta was out of line and disrespectful. You don't just, hold on. You're absolutely right. But it's like, it's not a one-way street here, PM. It's a two-way street. And you have to remember, she's a cop. So her first job as a cop is nobody takes your gun. Like that's like a thing. You don't lose your gun because that's your weapon. And she also feels like she has value to offer because she's been this trained. Now, the problem with that is she's just not seasoned in this place. I believe in a week or so, she might be seasoned in this place like the Matthews family, like Jade, like everybody else. Because how long have they been in From? A week or two? You know, like this hasn't been this long, even though it's been 3 seasons. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, PM, and I'm not saying that you're completely wrong. I just think that she deserves more slack because she's still trying to, get acclimated to this place. But what do I know?
Lisa, I was just thinking the same thing. You jumped in while I was talking about the song lyrics and changed the subject.
Sorry.
But and the other main part of the song lyrics say, and you'll just wait and see how things are going to be if you just wait and see. So that kind of scares me. Just wait and see. So at any rate, that kind of closes out what I have to say, and then Bacta comes in and talks about taking over the diner, which I think if she was smart, she would just live at the diner and not have to deal with anybody, because she needs to take control of something at any rate.
Well, they need to do something with the character, or else she's not going to get paid.
I know.
I think the actress, I think there's a lot of good stuff that can happen with her, but they've underused her. So let me just go back to PM real quick, because she's trying to beat me up. She's not good under pressure. The town has Abby's history. No, I understand where Boyd is coming from. I also understand. I don't think that she's bad under pressure as much as.
I don't think she's seasoned enough under pressure.
I just think that she missed her target. She's a bad shot. It's not that she's under pressure. She's trying to shoot those things. And she hit the window. And also, Nikki opened the window shade, which she shouldn't have done.
Shouldn't have been there. But the thing is, anyone standing near a window, shade open or not, could have been shot. That could have been anybody. God forbid it was Donna,
Right.
you know?
But anyway,
so
so
we're
sorry.
gonna continue and move over to Acosta. This is after the diner. She's walking around town and she's at Nikki's grave. And Boyd, she comes in, Boyd is in this sheriff's station and he's seeing the place ripped apart. There's nothing I hate more when you neaten everything up and someone just comes in and moves everything and everything's a mess. Well, I'm looking around my place, but anyway, Acosta comes out of the, out of probably the jail area or the back room or whatever. And she's like, I want my gun. 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 Give me my gun. And Boyd is saying no, but then he relents and he's like, I'll give you your gun back. So he pulls the gun out, takes all the bullets from the clip and hands her the gun. Oh my God, did I say Acosta Special Time with Boyd? Is that the title I told you to use?
Yeah.
I love it. But what I hated about that was her getting right up in Boyd's face. It was like she was trying to pick a fight with him.
Well, she was pissed. And
she
she's
was
pissed. To be pissed. I'm sorry, guys. You can tell me I'm wrong, but she has every right to be pissed. She missed a shot. I don't even think she missed a shot. I think not that she was intending to kill Nikki, so to speak, but she was intending to suppress the monster, or it was a window. I mean, anyway.
I mean, it was
an accident.
It was an accident. That's exactly it. I really don't like how she's coming into this so hard. Like she's the only one that can solve all the problems. But, I just don't like how she's being with Boyd. I get that she's mad that he took her gun.
He came off a little strong in the beginning.
He was very strong. You're right. Like he starts out with like, wow, look at what you came into last night. And then he just like changes personalities and he's like, I'm taking your gun, and his head spun around 3 times and he spit out some pea soup. And I was like, whoa. But at any rate, I don't know. Like, I don't know that she's going to make it here. Like, either she's not going to have a place to sleep, and I'm wondering where she's sleeping now, or someone's going to push her out the door and be I've had enough.
I think, first off, we don't know her backstory. There's a reason why she's there.
Yeah.
Do
you think she's connected to Donna? Because that's like the chit chat.
I don't. Honestly, and I know this is like blasphemous. A lot of these theories are just so. I just want to watch the show.
Well, yeah. I mean, let me ask: does anyone in the chat think that she is connected to Donna in any way? The only reason I think so is the flash. There was this flash of a look on Donna's face when she first looks at her, like something was familiar about her, but it could go either way. It might.
I think it was like, oh my God, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
I really like the thing that drives me nuts is, that Tabitha is Victor's sister and all that. I just don't think that's the case. I mean, again.
And someone posted a picture of Eloise, little kid
on the
Eloise.
Wall.
Yeah. And I was like, if you compare the little kid Tabitha, maybe, but I don't know, like maybe Tabitha was adopted and they renamed her Teloise. I don't know. Eloise. All right, let's switch up and let's talk about Victor. Victor and Jasper.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah, see that I was kind of thinking about that 2 p.m. So Victor is trying to get Jasper to talk. And remember when Henry comes in and the chair is rocking? I had to go back because I was like, is that chair rocking on its own? Victor hit the chair.
Yeah.
So I was a little disappointed, gotta say. But the magic piece is missing. There's some ingredient that's not working here.
I think the ingredient is Jade.
You think Jade? You think
it's the only logical.
So you think if Jade and Jasper come together, he'll talk?
Because one, Jasper has appeared to Jade on multiple times.
Yeah.
And two, what did the monster say to Victor when he was in the cave? If you keep poking around, we're going to keep you. So
if you keep coming down here
or whatever.
Like, it makes me wonder how many times he's gone down there.
Oh, he's probably, who knows?
I mean, I wonder if he went there when he was a kid. You know,
I just know that Victor is there for a reason.
Yeah.
He didn't kill him. God knows they could have killed him on multiple occasions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah. Here.
It just, like, I wonder if he really heard what Jasper was saying when he was talking to Christopher. I mean, I do not like those dummy things, those mannequin. I just don't like them.
I don't either. Who does?
Well, there's got to be somebody. And when they showed it, Jasper talking on his own and Christopher's yelling, for me, that was super scary.
Right.
Like, I played with dolls when I was a little kid. I loved dolls, loved them. But, I like to go thrifting and stuff like that in antique shops. And there's one that has a doll room and I just will not go in there. Like, it just freaks me out.
Now, Jasmine has an interesting point. Jasper will not talk to Victor. Will not talk. Victor will remember that Christopher was never talking to Jasper. It was actually the boy in white that was talking to Christopher. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but in the clip last episode, Jasper was talking.
Yeah,
his mouth was going up and down.
Yeah.
And like I said, Jade has been seeing him yelling at him. So, but to Papa's point, the basement are.
No, I went back and looked that up. The basement is for daytime. Like I went back in my notes to look it up. The upstairs was for, oh, wait a minute. The basement is secrets. How did I screw that up?
I don't know.
Because I remember thinking, like, when he said that to Sarah, it just freaked me out. But at any rate, I don't know if anyone caught it. I should have taken a picture of this, but guys, go back and look at it. When Victor walks up to Sarah's house, he's got Jasper by the arm, like he's a little kid and he's dragging him along. He's like angry at him. Like, I can't remember laughing at anything in From, but it was the funniest looking little scene. Victor holding him by the arm, dragging him along over to Sarah's house. And so Victor, asks if he can use the basement so he can talk to Jasper.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. But where do you want to go next, Elgin?
Yeah, because the last three things that we're going to talk about are the big things. Okay. The real big things. So Elgin makes the Elgin makes the mobile for Fatima, and then all of a sudden the Polaroid just goes off on its own and spits out a picture. What's the matter, Alex?
I'm going to say this. I hope he dies.
Really?
Not because I want him to die, just to put the poor kid out of his misery. Like, this poor guy needs to, he has been tortured
Yes.
and tortured. Like, I feel so bad for him. But what he did today had to be one of the dumbest things I've ever seen anybody doing from.
Go into that place. Like, I was just like, they've all poked the bear a little bit at different times. They've all poked the bear. But tonight, watching Elgin, did you get my clip that I sent?
I have it. I can play it.
Okay. So hold on to it for a sec. Okay.
Yeah,
so next thing you know, like, it was getting so confusing. I had to like break it down and like points, right? So Elgin shows up at the root cellar, and we see that the picture is a picture of the doors of the root cellar. And it's daytime, and he goes in, and there's some doors at the back, right? And let's see. He sees what looks like doors closing behind the first door. So he opens the first door, and then we see the armoire. Can you pop that clip up?
All right. I'm going to show you a clip of what happened in this. So, hold on one
and
second.
I don't know if you guys noticed this.
I did.
But you did? All right. Did anyone notice what looked like a door closing in the crack of the armoire?
Let me play it. Here we go.
That, because like when I was going back and making the little clip, I was like, oh, it's just his flashlight, light from the flashlight. And it wasn't, because there was something above the beam of the flashlight that went across the crack. But then in that notch, you see like what looks like a door it could be closing.
At first, I thought it was a person of some kind, or it was definitely something.
Okay.
Whether it's a door or a person or whatever.
Yeah. And like, it freaked me out. I was like, wait a minute, I'm surprised I didn't gloss over it, because, I think Alex and I have said that when we end the podcast on Sunday nights, we both go and watch the episode that's coming up for the next week, because they've been leaving us on some crazy cliffhangers. And we don't talk about it with each other. Like, the most we do is send each other a what the fuck. And that is it.
And then we might talk a little bit about it, but we try not to, right when we start, we don't want to talk about it because we want to wait till now.
Yeah. Like, and I spend Sunday doing my notes. And so, I'm thinking, I'm like, what is wrong with this kid? All right. So he opens the first door. Then there's something that goes by on the armoire, and he opens it up and he sees nothing in there. And we've just seen something moving in there. So he sees nothing in there and he closes it, but he doesn't latch the hook. He turns and he walks away, and he hears 3 knocks. I would have been running out of that root cellar so fast. I wouldn't have been there in the first place. But I'm like, what is he doing? What is he doing? And then when he stands there, there's 2 more knocks.
Then you've
Oh
got
my
the
God.
bed, and he pulls the mattress off, and it's
It's
like
up
some
against the wall,
wait,
right?
there's like some decrepit body.
But dude, did you look at his shirt?
No,
It was a blue and white striped shirt. Who's been walking around with a blue and white Oxford shirt? Jade.
right.
Jade. And I'm like, all right, so people have been talking about time travel stuff. And I'm like, is this time travel stuff? Because I don't know how dated that outfit is. It looked modern.
Honestly, I'm not even going to comment on the whole thing because I had my eyes closed like for 90% of it, or I was looking away because
that
that's
was so
crap to
scary.
me. And I know we're supposed to be like this deep dive, whatever podcast. I'm sorry, guys. That scared the crap out of me. And
It was scary.
I rewatched it twice, and I probably watched it 1.5 times because there's a ton of stuff in there. And I think there's a guy listening in, Ben, who did some frame by frame stuff and put it on TikTok. And I'm gonna say, God bless you, because that was just that whole. As soon as he went to the cellar, I knew it was a problem.
Nothing good has happened in that cellar.
No,
Nothing.
and just then he put the bed on the table like he's gonna live there.
I know. It was like, I'm like, why are you setting this all up? I just didn't get it. So then, he turns around and there's Kimono Lady. And she's like, this is where, is this what he asks? He says to her, he asks, is this really where it happens? So
something's happening.
Something that is such a huge reveal that he knows something that he has not let on to at all, other than the water thing. Sorry,
Right.
it's like getting cold. It's hot. I don't know. I get excited. I don't know. All right. So that was third to last of the big things. So, Papa, I am going to go talk about Jim and Tabitha and out at the settlement. And Papa had said, I knew the shirt. Oh, wait a minute. That's not what he said. All right. I knew the shirt looked familiar, but I couldn't remember from where. I saw jeans and I was like, that can't be one of the original 3 people in the cave chained to the wall because he had jeans. Okay. All right. I'm glad I'm not the only one looking at that like that. Papa has. All right. So Papa says, and for the record, I felt much love for Tabitha and Jim's scene, which most of my friends hated. That's just the beauty of this show. And, there was something about that. I was looking, watching Jim and Tabitha talk, and she's trying to explain to him that she had a pre-connection to this place. And at first, he was looking at her with his engineer eyes, his brain or whatever. He was just like, that is not logical. Then, a right angle is 90 degrees. Everyone knows this. If you put 2 right angles back to back, it's 180 degrees. That's Jim, But when she just started talking about it, something came over him and he stepped out of his engineer brain and he went to, this is my wife and I love her and she's experiencing something brain. And he softened, it was her stressing to him like this was a dream. that I had over and over and over again when I was a kid. And I saw this, and who is this man in yellow? This is the second time that I've heard this.
So what's happened is somebody has
Is this a leak?
Cast. It's a cast member, but we don't know who it is, or maybe I don't know who it is, but he's in the cast.
I really don't want to talk about that at all or hear about it until it comes up.
Happens. If he's there, I haven't seen him.
It's too much of a leak.
Well, I don't even know. We don't know who or what he is. So.
Oh, yeah. I hear you, Papa. But still, I think that.
Why don't you read what he said?
Yeah, Lizzie, I mistyped. I was speaking of the Jim and Tabitha scene from last week when they were arguing and the monsters were screaming. I love that scene too. Like, it was like the monsters are like, yeah, let's go. Maybe one of you will run out of the house and slam the door and we'll, have dinner. But did you just laugh at me?
Well, this is a good point. I just wanted to refresh. We're talking season 3, episode 7, These Fragile Lives, and we're also making dinner reservations, evidently, because they're going to go outside and go to the diner, have some tea, and have some pot, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see.
So are you going to talk about the 3 rocks or not?
Well, yeah. I'm like, Jim thinks that I don't know what I wrote. Jim lists that things that have happened. Donna, Sarah. Oh, yeah, like Sarah having the worms and trying to kill their kid. He's talking about all these weird things that have happened, and he's like, this is not you, and she is saying, look, all of those things happened here. My dreams were from when I was a little kid before here.
Right.
And that's when, Jim comes to her side. So the next thing we see them walking to the stones, and she's like, oh my God, these are the stones. These are the stones, and she talks about how she was hiding behind one of the big stones, and she points out which rock she had been behind and that it was scary, and what was scary was on the other side of the rock. And when she looks up, I think when she's about to see what it is, that's when she would wake up. And so Jade pops in with an interesting thought. And he says, Miranda said she was chosen. And Tabitha saw this place as a child. And he's like, you were always going to see that tree in the road. So he is bringing up determinism, which I really friggin' hated philosophy in college. I was just like, if and that. And I'm like, well, I can't believe I have to spend $300 on 3 credits for this class. That and library science. Biggest waste of money for me. Maybe other people would love it. But it just, I went down a mini rabbit hole, and I was just looking at what the difference between free will and determinism. And free will is just that, people act independently of prior events. And then determinism, all events are determined by causes external to the will. And humans have no free will or responsibility for what they do. And, I think I have seen some acts like that in life, where people, think they have no responsibility for it. But the question is, do people have control over their actions? Is that what this place is? Is it a test between free will and determinism? Is this God and is it God and the devil talking about Job? before they put them through all of those things. I don't know. Bible is not my strong point, but what Jade does is validate Tabitha, says Papa. Listen to Tabitha, allow her to speak, hear her, and tell her she was right. And Jim has to see her, see her value through other eyes. And I think that's right. And I feel a little stupid because the tree in the road, is the tree in the road actually a fork in the road? Is the fork determinism or free will? Am I putting you to sleep, Alex? I'm sorry.
No, I'm not. I just I'm just thinking about it. I mean, this is an age-old question. Do we have free will or not? I mean, are we meant to be doing this podcast, or did it evolve? Like when we met each other at Atlanta Comic Con,
yeah.
Going further back, even listening to Handmaid's Tale when you were doing, was it already predetermined that we were going to podcast? I do believe that, you get signs, and I'm, for some reason, I've been thinking of this one. I don't know if it's a parable, but it's a story. This guy goes to heaven and he says to God, why didn't you help me? And he's like, I did. I gave you a raft. He's like, let's say he's on an island. I gave you a raft. I gave you a tree. I gave you coconuts. I gave you this. And he just didn't realize that was the help. It just wasn't like gift wrapped the way he liked it. And then I also go back to Under the Tuscan Sun. You may get what you want. It may not be the way you want it, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it all relates, but I really do hope, and I said this last week, I believe, and I'm going to say it this week, if the writers are listening or whatever, I hope they figure out why they're there. I don't care that they get out right away, but I hope we figure out what is the deal with this place. And I think if they could answer that at the end of the season, that would be helpful. I'm a little kind of disappointed. I know we're not really talking about the episode, but just this season in general. I'm a little in this sense, not in the season. I'm a little disappointed that we haven't gotten more Monster talking to Boyd.
I think that's coming.
Oh no, I think it's coming too. It's gonna probably next week, or definitely 9 and 10. I just thought there'd be more along the way. That's all I'm saying. When I say disappointed, I'm not disappointed in any of the episodes. I just thought that was going to happen more. But I like what they're doing in terms of they're setting him up to break.
Yeah, and there was this moment when he was handing Acosta back her gun. And I was like, or when he was I can't remember, but it was in the sheriff's office when she's in there. And I'm like, he's breaking a little bit.
Oh, he's broke.
Or maybe it was in the hospital when he's looking at Fatima. There was a moment in this episode when I was like, he's breaking.
Well, after they left, him and Christy had it out a little bit.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
Maybe that was it.
And so him and Christy have a conversation, and they're yelling at each other. Well, it's your fault. Well, it should have been information you should have told me beforehand, so I know what I'm doing. Well, it wasn't my place. Oh, now it's going to not be your place. They had this whole conversation, and they're causing Boyd to second guess himself. And I don't know who it was in the chat. They had said, and it could have been Papa. I think it actually might have been Papa. When Tilly dies, not to go backwards, but I think it's an important point, is what was she that whole day? She was a positive force.
She was a positive force. And she was popping in all these places. Like she pops in with Elgin when he's got the logo.
But my point being is what ended up happening? She died.
She dies, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have another point that I'm going to make later, but yeah,
You know what? I just found my little note, and this is in our last section, which is just all Fatima. When I'm prepping, like, you know, I mean, if you haven't seen it, like this, I make a video every week about my notes, but you know, I just go through and I'm writing down what's happened. My thoughts are in colored pencil or outlined in colored pencil so that I make sure I mention it. But back to Boyd, he's yelling at Christy to do her job and figure it out. Like, it surprised me, the tone of voice that he was using with her, because they've always talked peer to peer. He's always talked to her with respect. And I was like, he's showing his cracks and they are breaking him. Like,
and that's why I go back to Akasa.
Yeah.
I don't think you would have reacted the same way in season 1 or season 2.
I don't think so either. I think you're absolutely right. Like, I wonder if all right, don't laugh too hard, but I'm wondering if her name, and it's because of the way you're saying it, accosted. I wonder if that's a play on her name, if that means something. But at any rate, so let's finish up and talk about Fatima. So she's told Christy about the cravings. Christy is taking all the different pieces and putting it together. I mean, the main piece is that with the ultrasound, they see absolutely nothing. They're looking at her uterus and there is nothing in there at all. And so she's just like, all I can think is that this is a psychosomatic pregnancy. And the thing about it is, we don't know anything about Fatima before she gets to From, other than she can't have kids. And here she is popping up pregnant, right? That is all we know about her. And Marielle astutely points out Boyd's worms, Sarah's voices. And this is kind of like the second time we've heard this in the episode. Sarah's voices. Here's Fatima popping up faux pregnant, right? Could the three be all that different from one another? There is something foreign in their bodies. So, you know, Fatima becomes volatile because she is absolutely convinced that she's pregnant. She is not acting like herself. We've never seen her so angry. And she's a mess. Like, you know, it's funny, like Hannah and Pegah were rooming together. Hannah was on earlier if you weren't here. And they were rooming together during this last season. And Hannah's, you know, Pegah comes home from work and she's like, how was it today? She's like, you know, I was crying and yelling the whole time. That is not the Fatima that we have known. So Marielle goes to Colony House with Fatima, excuse me, and she sets up an IV drip for her. And she points out that she was also victimized by this place, you know, because Marielle was taken over by the cicadas.
Cicadas.
I try so hard. I try so hard.
I know you do.
And so Fatima refuses to think it's the same thing for her. Fatima says that she's eating garbage because it is making her, like she doesn't have a choice, you know. And that has, you know what? I identify with that. That happened to me this week with this bag of Rolos that I got in my Target order. And you know what? They're gone now. So, you know, it won't make me eat them anymore. So Fatima feels that no one is listening to her, you know, that she is pregnant, that she is, you know, feeling this. Ellis reminds her that she broke down in the sheriff's office when the bus came. Because remember when Cowboy Hat and shoulder bag, they're at
I
the
remember
door.
it. She was beating on the window.
Yeah, like it was crazy, you know. Fatima tells Ellis that her stomach is growing, that it is getting stronger. And when she said it is getting stronger, to me, that sounded like an entity versus a fetus, right? She's angry all the time. If the baby isn't real, then it means that it's her. Like something is wrong with her. And she needs for it to be a baby because she is not wanting to fall victim to this place. Let's see, but if Lizzie is right, then she should eat the rotten food, feed the baby, get healthy, have the baby, and move on. Yeah.
Easier said than done.
Yeah. Fatima, and you can speak to this, Alex. Fatima looks at the IV and it's all like red where the needle went in. Was that the skin or was that blood? That's her body rejecting it, right?
It could be, or it could be. There's a whole bunch of reasons. When I saw that, I thought it could be the line got bad. I mean, it could be a whole bunch of reasons. They could be the monsters are messing with her. I mean,
yeah.
Unfortunately, conventional wisdom just doesn't play a part in this.
Yeah.
Or it could have been a hallucination, like Lisa said.
That she was hallucinating. It was looking like that.
I don't think she was, but at the same time, you probably are right because the whole stomach thing, you know, where her stomach went in and went out. And,
yeah.
I
mean, she sees it, she turns and throws up into a bowl, and then she's in pain. And like, all right, what did you think when all of a sudden the stomach is sucking up under her rib cage?
Exactly.
What did you think?
I was thinking, all right. What I was thinking after it all happened, when Ellis came in, it's kind of like what happened to Sarah. You know, they're setting her up to look crazy.
I thought that it was eating her from the inside out. I think that it's going to make her a monster.
I hope
that's
not.
what I thought. I don't like, who knows? We don't know yet, but that's what I thought. And I was like trying to think.
The only reason I don't like that theory is not because I don't like it, is because Victor's never said that someone has become a monster before.
Yeah. But if you look at the clothing of the monsters.
No, I get it.
No, I'm just going to say they predate Victor.
True.
You know?
I
think he's been looking at these same monsters the entire time that he's been there.
I mean, the way everybody is talking about the theories I'm saying, including what you said, it's like From is resetting.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, I don't think that's it, but I just think that, you know, if that's the case, that kind of sucks. Like if it ends up that there's a different Victor and like a bunch of these people end up being monsters and that's how it ends, that's going to really suck.
I mean, I really don't think we're going to know by the end of the season.
No, I don't mean this season. I'm saying when it's over.
As long as it's not like Lost where they were dead the whole time. and they told us that
it's not going to be long. I mean, that doesn't happen. But
so Ellis comes in, and all of a sudden her stomach goes back to normal, and it's even pushed out a little bit,
right,
as if she's starting to show, right? So Ellis runs down to the clinic to get some antipsychotics. So he's fighting with Christy about it. Boyd makes him give them back. Ellis feels helpless, and he's trying to stop things before she becomes Abby. Like that's what Ellis is afraid of, having to see someone he really cares about, become a victim to this place. So while Ellis is gone, Fatima goes on out to the greenhouse. She's a little bit hungry, and she looks at the rotten vegetables. I don't know what Marielle's last name is, but could be. But why would Tilly have antipsychotic drugs if I thought that was more like morphine stuff.
Yeah, she had like painkillers because of her cancer.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So at any rate, Fatima goes out to the greenhouse, and she's looking at the rotten vegetables, which I'm kind of wondering why they're still there, because no one really knows that she's eating them unless she hid them. Tilly comes in. Fatima says to go, and then all of a sudden she just takes she knocks Tilly down, takes gardening shears, and stabs Tilly. The last thing Tilly says to her is, "You have to run," and then she dies.
All right, so this is a good point. I put something together, a little PowerPoint type thing on Tilly, and it shows what you just talked about. So let's take a look from beginning to end. So you never mess with a pregnant woman in From.
Or one that isn't really pregnant.
Who knows what's happening? But for those of you listening on the audio podcast, we did a little tribute to her, and
Tilly.
Yeah, and we'll post that up on the YouTube channel as well, so that you guys can see that. And it's interesting what she meant by you have to run. This is my crazy theory. If you want a crazy theory, who's to say? I mean, I just said in one breath she had hope, and now she's dead.
She was hope, yeah.
But she still could have been part of the bad guys. Because she's pushing. You could make a case her positivity was pushing buttons to Fatima, so they were doing it inside and out. Yeah. Again, I don't know, but
because that is like the worst Fatima could be. Like, she is Miss Sunshine, right? And she has just gone off into the other extreme.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know if she knows anything or not. She could just be a old broad that just has cancer
But what if that was something that she saw as she was dying?
It's going to play out. But I just think that, not that I'm getting into your territory where everything means everything, like the color of the shears. But I do believe that they could do a Tilly. She was really part of everything, maybe not knowing it, or you know what I mean? Like she was being controlled. Because why would she say what she said? I mean, you know, and why would they make such a point about it? I don't know. I mean, that's why I'm like interested to see the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to run.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It was
Exactly,
crazy.
Lisa.
So, like,
Yeah, it was crazy.
it's
So,
like, what does that mean? You
right.
have to run. I'm writing it in big letters in my notebook. You have to run.
So, do you have any booms? You have no booms this week, right?
It was 3 big things. Like those were the booms, basically.
Okay.
Boom. Elgin neatening up his own cop. He knows something that we don't know. And then boom. Tabitha definitely saw this in her dreams. And then boom, Fatima kills Tilly. Like Fatima totally I don't know that I'm gonna watch it. I have to get up early for work.
Well, you know, that being
And
said, we're going to be looking at, you know, episode 8 next week. But before
I don't even want to because the end is so close.
It's called Threshold, so who knows what's going to happen. But that said, I'm going to let you have the full screen because, folks, you know, one of the ways you can support the podcast is, you know, going on to our site and being a you know, $5 a month member or buying a poster. And Lizzie's got some other things that we're going to be doing as well, buying a shirt or a mug. And I just want to take the time to thank everybody because, you know, we come up with this stuff and we're not sure if it's going to sell. I mean, yes, the mug, we knew the shirts would sell, but we did a poster and, you know, we're going to have to do another run of it. And I think that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm going to give it to you.
Okay. I'm going to show off. We have 4 stickers and another 2 on the way. So I took, let's see. There's a 3-piece set of the talisman, the lunchbox, and then I took this piece out of our poster because, you know, we lost our Mrs. Lou. So those 3 come together. Then a single, which is Mrs. Lou with the diner. And I have the bottle tree, which is my own art that I did. And then what I did, I write a zombie apocalypse series, and I have my own bookmarks. And what I started doing was, I don't know, I just couldn't. I guess I'm like, I've got to embellish stuff. So what I did was I created bookmarks from the poster, and you can get them plain. You can get 3 of them without any embellishment. They come together. It's just these 3 that I'm going to show you. But what I did, of course, you keep flipping the wrong way, is I do little artsy stuff. And so there's a little disc that says from, and then little stuff here. And this one is from the poster, of course. A sliver from the poster. I have this one where it's got Boyd and Victor, and it didn't flip over this time. So the same little disc with a little doodad on it. And the last bookmark is another sliver from the poster. And, you know, the same thing from, why is it like floating around? So anyway, so if you want to go to our Etsy page, it is very simply the What Is From shop. That is it. That is what it's called. And these embellished bookmarks are being sold singly. And the price does include shipping. And I think they're $10. I don't know. But I was just sitting here looking at them. the whole time. And I'm like, they look so good in their little cellophane wrappers. So Alex, I'm done if you want to come back.
And again, folks, just go to What Is From shop. We've got a little bit of everything there. Fromville shirts, Sunday is From Day shirts, to mugs, to now all this good stuff. And we're going to be doing a pre-order for season 2 poster as well. We're just waiting.
We have not seen it yet.
No, we're just waiting for Kirk to kind of give us a rough draft so we can start getting those pre-orders.
Yeah.
But like I said, folks, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to listen to us. I want to thank Hannah for taking the time to come on down. And like I said, next week, season 3, episode 8, Threshold. I'm pretty scared, but it's got to happen. So we got to do what has to happen. So that means that we are...
Wait, hold on. I want to thank everyone for coming. Thanks for coming live and joining us and commenting and everything. I appreciate it so much, and it's fun to interact. So I hope we see you again. And someone asked, if you go to Etsy, it is what is from shop. You should be able to find us if you search for that under shops. So thanks so much. And
it's dark out. Make sure you have a talisman.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Yes. Oh my.
Wait, wrong one. Did it again. Goodbye. Second time.
Get you home. Let's go. Come on, get in your house. Let's go. Come on.